Hi, I'm T1J. Follow me on Twitter. So I'm constantly evolving as a person, and I assume that's going to keep happening as long as I'm alive. And I want to encourage you to always be thinking of ways that you can better yourself. Never assume that you've got it all figured out. Of course, this depends on your personal values, which I can't expect to be the same as mine across the board. So the things that I'm personally working on may not be that important to you, even if they are to me, but maybe they can still give you some food for thought. So something that I've been thinking about a little bit lately is calling people crazy. It's a thing that a lot of people, including me, do like pretty casually without even thinking about it. I made a video a while back where I mentioned that I'm trying to be more conscious of the language I use, just to be clear in what I mean and also just to be respectful to people. And every time I talk about this, I will always provide the disclaimer that context is important and shouldn't be ignored. Like, if you understand that what I'm trying to say is not intended to be offensive or mean-spirited, it's pretty petty to criticize me for the specific words used. But you know, in day-to-day life, if someone does something outrageous or incredibly irrational or really mean or violent, I'll often say that person is crazy. Now, the most conspicuous red flag for me personally is that I find myself using the word crazy to describe women way more than I use it to describe men. And I don't personally believe that women are crazier than men overall. I mean, as a man, trust me on that. So I feel like there's something else to that, which is concerning to me. Now, I'm not saying that it's unfair to observe and or criticize people when they're being ridiculous, but I do think you see sometimes in our society that women are more harshly judged than men for similar behaviors. Like, there's this guy in my town who's banned from like every bar and nightclub because he likes to get really drunk and just fight everybody, even if you're like a cop. And I'm sure I've said on multiple occasions, that motherfucker is crazy. And sometimes I say it in a joking way when I'm talking about men, like if I'm talking about someone that's eccentric, like Russell Brand or Quentin Tarantino, those dudes are crazy as hell. But I feel like I'm more likely to unironically call a woman crazy for a lesser crime. That could just be me, but I feel like I've encountered other people with the same kind of vocabulary. I even know women who frequently call other women crazy. I've even heard women say that women are inherently crazy, like that's a basic part of being a woman. And I don't really agree with that. Although being crazy might be an inherent part of being a person, which further diminishes the usefulness of the word. So that's one issue. The other issue is that dismissing people as crazy kind of represents a failure to imagine them complexly. Like, it's really easy to see someone at their worst and assume that's how they are all the time, when they could just be having a really bad day, or they could have just had too much to drink, or they've had a lapse in judgment for whatever other reason. None of this excuses shitty behavior, but I still think it's unfair to broadly dismiss a person based on a thing they did once or even a couple times. Another thing to consider is that a lot of people have mental illness or behavioral disorders or psychological triggers or drug addiction, among many other things like that. And different people are on different stages of psychological and self-care. Again, I don't think this excuses bad behavior, but I still don't think it's appropriate to just designate them as crazy. Calling people crazy is kind of condescending, and I don't know that it's ever really the ideal way to describe people's behavior. Harley Quinn is crazy. Woody Woodpecker is crazy. The Super Jail Warden is crazy. That reference though. Non-fictional human beings are just more complex than that. So I'm working on more appropriate and less dismissive ways of describing these behaviors. That's just me though. Thank you for watching my video. Check out this video where I talk about 3 of my favorite things: pro wrestling, sitcoms, and comic book superheroes. I want to give a shout out to all of the new subscribers. How you doing? And remember, be honest, be assertive, be kind, and be open-minded. If you agree with that, can I see a Heiko in the comments? And subscribe if you like my hair. Thank you guys once again for watching my video. If you didn't know already, I've got some cool T1J t-shirts for sale on Teespring for a limited time. If you want one of these shirts, you have about 2 weeks left to get one. If you like either of these shirts, or you just want another way to support me, consider purchasing one of these t-shirts. So these will be available for the next couple of weeks, and it would be awesome if you got yourself one. If you're looking for a more long-term way to support me, consider signing up for Patreon. That would also be amazing. But either way, if you can't afford it or if you don't feel like it, that's fine too. I just thank you for watching my video.